Now, here's something you probably don't hear every day in the homesteading world. We're actually part of the problem. And I know this might sound strange because homesteading is supposed to be the escape from all of this, like consumerism, convenience foods, the burnout, the hustle culture, etc. But if you just look closely at what homesteading has become online, you will notice that there's a lot of consumerism right under the surface. And to be totally clear, I'm not here to point fingers or to be judgmental in any way. I've fallen for it just as much as everyone else. I'm just here to spark a thought. Let's think about it. Let's think at what we're actually doing as homesteaders and what we're trying to achieve. What is the picture like in our head about our homesteading life? And let's de-influence homesteading. I'm also not here to tell you how to do homesteading and who you should listen to. I just think the dream of homesteading comes with a cost. And it's just important to know that you don't have to do it the way the internet makes you believe you have to do it. So the first big problem is consumerism. When you scroll through Instagram or watch your YouTube videos about homesteading, what is it that you actually see? And I don't mean always, but possibly most of the time. You see neat rows of raised beds, greenhouses, like the most beautiful greenhouses. You see matching watering cans. You see pantries full of matching jars, the perfect picture book jars. You see perfect kitchen where there's always a fresh bread rising on the countertop. It is super beautiful. It is inspiring, but look closer. It's also trying to sell you something. Because if you constantly see all those things, it makes you believe that you need all those things as well to be a perfect homesteader. You need the trays, you need the special booths, you need the certain tools, you need the perfect pantry shelving. And let's be honest, it just suddenly feels like homesteading is another shopping trip. And I'm totally guilty of that too. And that's why I'm making this video, because I'm in it, like directly in it, and I see all those videos, and it made me buy seeds that I've never even sowed. It made me buy tools that ended up just collecting dust, thinking I need to buy jars from Amazon that I possibly wouldn't have even used, because we have this dream of this picture perfect homesteading life, and we want it to look like this at home as well, and we want to live like this, and we want to have Instagrammable countertops and kitchens and pantries and gardens, etc. But if we stop there for a moment and think, wasn't homesteading supposed to be the exact opposite of that? Because at the end of the day, homesteading is about resourcefulness, connecting with the land, working with nature, being able to actually take care of yourself. It's about the simplicity and using what you already have. And somewhere along the way, we kind of just got pulled back into the same trap that we thought we were escaping. And on top of that, there's also this pressure of having to go all in. If you do homesteading, you have to do it all the way, right? Raising animals, canning everything that you can, sowing, planting, growing every sort of fruit and vegetable that you might not even like, bake the bread, make the soap, learn the carpentry, and start a side business. And if you don't do all of it, are you actually really homesteading? And I think that's the message that a lot of us absorb online. But honestly, life isn't that neat. Not everyone has the land, the time, the money, or honestly, even the desire to do it all. For some people, homesteading lies in just growing some of your vegetables on your own, having a small vegetable garden, or canning a couple of things. Others might just want chicken and live a little bit simpler. And you know what? I tell you something. That's also enough. It is your homestead. It is your idea of homesteading, your way of making homesteading work in a way that fits your life, that fits your time, that fits your money. But I find the way this lifestyle is represented online kind of tells you that you're already failing if you're not going in 100%, or if you're not having your garden in a certain way, if you don't have the chickens or the ducks, etc. And that all or nothing culture is really a direct line to burnout. And let's talk about money, because that's a really big one here. Homesteading is often described as a way of saving money, but actually, in order to homestead, you have to put in the money. It can be really expensive. Just think about all the soil amendments, the compost that you have to buy in. If you want to raise chickens, you have to get the chickens first. You have to build a coop. You have to think of food and vet costs. Not to talk about seedlings and plants. If you want to plant an orchard, those trees cost money. The more you want to preserve, the more canning jars you need, and the more jars in general you need. You have to get them from somewhere, and oftentimes, you find those links for Amazon, buy them here on Amazon, and they have to be new, otherwise they are not safe enough. You have to think of infrastructure on your property. As I said, the chicken coop, the water supply, sheds, fencing. And if you want a greenhouse like all those influencers out there, that's a couple of €1,000 right there. And that doesn't even stop there, because you have the recurring costs as well. If you start canning more and more, that's on top of the electricity bill. Fuel for lawnmowers and tractors. Replacing broken tools, because yes, they do break. And for us, we are currently on one salary with 4 people. It is really, really hard. Seeing constantly all those super picture perfect homesteaders online makes us think that we need certain things in order to do it properly. And honestly, we just can't afford it. We can, but does that mean we're not aiming for homesteading anymore? No, we just keep going anyway, and we're trying to be resourceful, and we reuse, and we declutter, and we DIY. And I think a lot of people online don't show that their lifestyle, their homesteading lifestyle, is supported by another way of income, another support. And that really matters, and you need to remind yourself of that. And now, with all these expectations and the pressure that we kind of get online, the way we're made to feel like we have to have certain things, it does have an influence on our mental health, and no one talks about that either. Homesteading is hard. It is really, really hard. Trying to do all those things, everything at once, trying to get the garden ready, looking after the kids, possibly even homeschooling, trying to make your most out of the time with the children, facing the weather, growing vegetables, fruit and flowers. The weather, oh my God. And outside influences, you have bugs, you have pests, you have diseases, you have hailstorms. I just seen one of those bigger accounts. She had her whole garden ruined by a big hailstorm, and all the harvests were done. You have to be resilient, but sometimes everything is just coming down on you, and there's so much to do. The list is like never ending. It does leave a toll on your mental health. And I am there. I'm gonna be bluntly honest here. I have been recently diagnosed with depression. So I think the way that I've been so influenced by social media and the online world has definitely played a big part. I'm a sensitive person, and I'm very easily influenced. And I think that's one of the problems here. I look online and I see those beautiful homesteads. I see those beautiful gardens, the beautiful lives with the dogs in the sunlight in the morning. And that's the kind of life we're all dreaming about if we're trying to be homesteaders, isn't it? But it's not the reality. I mean, yeah, some of the moments might be, but not all of it. And because we're so low on money, we're not able to afford certain things. And all the while the house is falling apart and needs urgent renovation. And on top of that, I've had lots of harvests that I had to take care of, and I'm taking on harvests from neighbors to make wine and preserves, etc. It just, the feeling that I had to take it on, all of it, and not saying no. And I want to be a homesteader. I want to be seen as a homesteader, and I want to do it right, and I want to do all of it. That, I guess, led in a way to a bit of a burnout, and with it to depression. You don't really get a break, because now we're lucky we don't have animals yet, but if you have animals, the animals will never stop needing you. You need to stay on top of pests. You need to constantly harvest, otherwise you lose the harvest if it goes over, or if the birds come before you and take it all away from you. And let's not even start talking about the weeds. Homesteading can be so incredibly beautiful, but it's also freaking brutal. Do you know those days when you go out into the garden and it's all completely overgrown and it just looks wild and it's messy? You just compare yourself to those influencers out there. Their gardens look immaculate, and the truth is they don't show you the messy parts of it. They just show you the pretty parts to make you believe they have it all together. Just try to not let the online world make you feel shame or overwhelm. Your garden is your garden. It is what it is. I can give you a tour of my garden, and every corner of the garden is just an absolute disaster. And I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm okay with it because I'm doing what I can. I have 2 toddlers to look after, and I'm gonna start a new job soon. The garden is going to be messy. It's not going to be picture perfect. Now, I'm not here to try and convince you not to homestead. All I'm trying to say is that you have to find your own way for homesteading that works around your life, your abilities, and your financial situation. So what do we do? How do we find our own way for homesteading? Just a couple of tips that I've discovered for myself and that I'm trying to go with to just not burn myself out and to not feel shame and not to feel overwhelmed. So first of all, I would suggest you sit down and you think about it and ask yourself, how would you define homesteading for yourself? What is it that you want to achieve? Do you want to go all in? Do you want to do it all? Or maybe you're good enough with just having a couple of chickens and ducks and grow a few vegetables. Do you want to have all the fruit in the garden? What do you actually want from homesteading? Is it food security, or are you just looking for a hobby? Is it something you want to do for the kids? Forget the influencer version. Find your very, very own version of homesteading. You're only starting out? Well, start tiny. You don't have to do it all in one season. If you want to have an orchard in your garden, and just a little fun fact, only 5 fruit trees already make an orchard. And start there. Plant a couple of fruit trees. That could be enough for one season. Or start a small garden. If you have a certain amount of space for a vegetable garden, you don't have to plant it all in one season. Maybe start with 2 raised beds and a row of vegetables in the ground. It could be good enough if you're just learning how to garden. Take it easy, take it step by step. What I like to do is that I learn one skill at a time. I have a list of skills that I want to learn, and I start by doing one of them at a time and try to get in the rhythm of it. For example, I love to learn and be better at fermenting. So I have on my list to make sourdough, to make my yogurt myself, do kombucha, winemaking, making sauerkraut, etc. I started off with kombucha. I have my kombucha now for 2 years. I'm in a rhythm of doing it, and I don't even need to think about it anymore. I just know how to do it, and it's kind of like second nature. So I slowly added winemaking to it, and I've been making wine now for about a year, and the wine is getting better and better, and I don't really need to look up much about it anymore because I know how to do it. Recently, I added making yogurt. I've made it a couple of times now, I think about 5 times, but I'm not under pressure of getting it right straight away. And for weeks I've been saying I'm gonna do sourdough, I'm gonna start a sourdough starter. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna master the yogurt making first. And once I have that down to a T, I will start with my sourdough. In that way, I have my learnings staggered and I don't put that pressure on myself that everything has to go at once. Everything has to be learned at once. Make a list of skills that you want to learn and pick your priorities and then go from there. Just do one thing at a time. It doesn't have to be all or nothing from the get-go. Use what you have. You don't need to spend an awful lot of money on all the things the influencers are trying to sell you. I know they're trying to make money online, and I mean, I guess that's what I'm trying to do here with this YouTube channel as well. But they're pushing out all the links to Amazon. You don't need to buy things from Amazon Prime sales just because some influencer is telling you to. Use secondhand, check out your secondhand shops, your charity shops, borrow things. So I have a roadside stand for my flowers and I run this through Instagram basically. I am advertising my flowers there. I have my flowers in gem jars or bigger glass jars. So I constantly ask my customers, hey, if you have jars available, just drop them off at the stand and I can reuse them either for the flowers, or if they bring them with a lid, I actually use them for canning. Do you know when you get the jars with the little plop on top and they actually seal when you have hot stuff in it? These are great for canning. You don't need new canning jars all the time. Do you know, homesteading is really about resourcefulness and not about the aesthetics and not about having it all. Set boundaries. If something drains you more than it actually gives you something, just let go of it. For me, growing the flowers is such a big joy, and this is one of the things that really feeds me. At the same time, I've been trying to grow every single flower in all the beauty little pastel colors, and I've been spending lots and lots of money on special varieties, getting upset over when they wouldn't germinate or when they didn't grow as well or didn't sell as well even. So I'm going down now to grow mixes, just colorful mixes of certain flowers that sell well, and I still have the joy of flowers, but I'm taking out the pressure of it. I'm setting my boundaries. And please protect your mental health. This is something that I am learning right now. Take breaks when you need to. It is okay to be lazy for a day or for a few hours. Sit on the couch, watch a movie or read a good book. And lower your standards. You don't have to have that standard of those influencers. You can have your own little standard. Your garden, the way it looks, it doesn't define you. The way you're homesteading, it doesn't define you. And if people judge, let them. It doesn't matter. You do you. And money worry has been a really big one for us lately, considering that we have mold in the house and that the house needs some urgent TLC and we just don't have the financials to do anything about it. So make sure that you protect your finances. Think carefully about money, track your expenses, make a budgeting plan. We have spent way too much money on the garden and on things that I thought we needed, we should have. As an example, my vegetable garden that I have out in the back, I've created with a thought, oh, it needs to be Instagrammable. It needs to look a certain way in order to be good vegetable garden. And I spend an awful lot of money on that. And now that I'm getting more into kind of that right mindset, I'm thinking more about it, and I know that I made a big mistake. I could have achieved out there so much more with a lot less. And I'm trying to rectify this now by creating the vegetable garden out the front garden, and we're trying to be as resourceful as possible to spend as little money as possible. We are prioritizing what really matters. We have good soil here and we're gonna use it. We don't need a garden full of raised beds. A lot of things grow very well in Ireland in the ground, and we're going to utilize this from now on. And side hustles are also great. Try YouTube if you want to, if you have the time for it and the mindset. Grow a couple of flowers, sell some leftover produce, sell your eggs, or try stock photography. Just make sure you don't let the hustle rob the joy of everything. And now, after all this rambling and all the honesty, You might wonder, is homesteading even still worth it? And my clear answer is yes, definitely. Homesteading is not easy. It's not picture perfect. It's not financially brilliant, but it is worth it. Learning all those skills, being able to grow your own food, it gives you a sense of accomplishment, but it also gives you food security. Looking at what the world is about, how it's going out there, what's going on. I think it's a good idea to know how to grow your own food and to be able to feed your own family. The skills make you more resilient, they make you smarter. They are an investment in your future and in your family's future. And you can even pass those things on to your children. You can teach them. You can make sure they know where food is actually coming from, because I think a lot of kids don't know that these days. It's worth it because of the connection to nature. Homesteading isn't about perfection. It's about resilience. It's about the learning. It's about being able to say, I can do this in my own way with what I have. This is incredibly powerful, and no one can take that away from you. And yes, in some ways we are part of the problem. Homesteading can be tangled up in the consumerism, in the all or nothing mentality, and in the comparison to the picture perfect version of it. But the beautiful thing is, you don't have to play that game. Your homestead can be as small or as big as you want. It can be messy, it can be imperfect, it can be budget friendly, it can be chaotic. It's yours, whichever way you want it to be. And for me, that's actually the heart of homesteading, is that we're not copying what we see online. We are creating a life that is real, that is meaningful. Now, thank you so much for spending that time with me and listening to me rambling on about influencers, etc. I'd love to hear in the comments, what pressures have you faced since you started your homestead? And how are you actually carving out your own version of homesteading? And if you found this video in any way helpful and you like my other videos, don't forget to subscribe, because that's incredibly supportive to me and my little homestead. See you next time, and don't forget, keep doing what you're doing if you think it's the right way to do it. Happy homesteading. Bye.